They misled you. Every trading book, every so-called guru, every polished success story, they convinced you that trading is about strategy, about finding the perfect indicators, about mastering technical analysis. But that's not what separates the winners from the bodies left behind. I'm Jesse Livermore. I turned $5 into $100 million. Then I lost it all. Built it back. Lost it again. And through 4 bankruptcies and fortunes large enough to make kings weep, I uncovered something they will never teach you in any course. There are 3 hidden stages every trader must survive before even a single dollar of consistent profit touches their account. 3 stages that have nothing to do with charts and everything to do with what happens inside your skull when real money is bleeding. Stay with me until the end of this video and I'll tell you exactly which stage you're in right now and what you must do to escape it. Because knowing your stage is the difference between wasting another year in losses and finally breaking through to the other side. If you watched my last video on the 5 signs you're becoming a profitable trader, you already know what success looks like when it finally arrives. But nobody talks about the hell you must walk through to get there. That's what this is about. The stages they don't want you to know exist, because if you understood how brutal this journey truly is, most of you would quit before you even begin. Before we go deeper, do me a favor. Hit subscribe, smash the like button, share this with another trader who's struggling, because they need to hear this. The market doesn't hand out participation trophies. Neither do I. But if you're serious about this game, you'll want every weapon I'm about to give you. Now let me tell you about these 3 stages. Not because I'm proud of the path, but because if you're going to trade, you deserve to know what's coming. The pain you're feeling right now? It isn't failure. It's education. The most expensive education you will ever buy. Most people quit before they finish even the first stage. They blow up their accounts, blame the market, and walk away convinced the system is rigged. But the market isn't rigged. It's revealing. It reveals who you truly are when money is on the line. Here's what you must understand before we continue. These stages aren't about learning new strategies or finding better setups. They are about transformation, about killing the parts of yourself that will never make money, and forging something stronger from what remains. Each stage strips away another illusion, until nothing is left but the truth of who you are as a trader. You can't rush this. You can't skip ahead. I've watched men try to leap from stage 1 to stage 3 by copying someone else's system, buying expensive courses or following signals from experts. Every single one of them failed, because these stages aren't about what you know. They're about what you become. The trader who survives all 3 stages is not the same person who started. He cannot be. The market won't allow it. It demands a price for success. And that price is everything you thought you knew about yourself, about trading, about money. Only after you've paid that price, only after you've been broken down and rebuilt, can you truly profit. So as I walk you through these stages, don't just listen. Look for yourself in them. I guarantee you are in one of these stages right now, whether you realize it or not. And understanding which stage you're in is the only way forward. Stage 1, the slaughter of certainty. When I first walked into a bucket shop at 14 years old, I believed I had it all figured out. Numbers spoke to me. Patterns rose from the chaos of the tape like constellations in the night sky. I was making money while grown men were losing their shirts. I believed it was because I was special, because I could see what others could not. That's how it begins for everyone. You make your first winning trade, then another, then another. Suddenly you believe you've cracked the code. The market feels like a slot machine that pays out every time you pull the lever. You're not trading, you're collecting money. It feels so easy you start wondering why everyone isn't rich. Then the market turns. Not gradually, not politely. It turns like a rabid dog, and it goes straight for your throat. I remember my first real beating. I was absolutely certain a stock would rise. I had studied it for days. The pattern was obvious. The opportunity was clear. So I went heavier than I should have. When you're certain, you don't hedge. You don't hesitate. You load up. Because missing easy money feels worse than the risk of being wrong. Except, I was wrong. And the market didn't just prove me wrong. It humiliated me. This is stage 1. The market takes everything you believe about yourself and sets it on fire. You learn that confidence is not an edge. Intelligence does not protect you. The market doesn't care about your analysis, your logic, or your desperate need to be right. Every trader who survives remembers their stage one. It is where you learn the first brutal truth. You know nothing. The patterns you thought you saw, noise your brain forced into meaning. The intuition you trusted, wishful thinking dressed as insight. The certainty you felt, the most expensive emotion you will ever indulge. Most traders quit here. They decide the market is impossible, that success is luck, that the system exists to take from the public and reward insiders. They are wrong, but I understand why they believe it. When you are certain, and you lose, it is easier to blame the game than admit you never understood it. For those who stay, whether stubborn or desperate, something begins to shift. The pain of loss becomes a teacher. You begin questioning everything, not just your trades, but your entire approach, your assumptions, your rules, your understanding of what trading truly is. You realize the market is not a puzzle to solve. It is a war to survive. And in war, confidence without discipline gets you killed. Stage one ends when you accept you were never as smart as you believed, when embarrassment fades, and humility replaces it. Real humility, the kind that doesn't just admit you were wrong once, but accepts you will be wrong many times. And that being wrong is not failure, it is part of the business. But humility alone won't make you profitable. It only prepares you for stage two. Stage two, the discipline of waiting. After the market beats the arrogance out of you, you enter a strange phase. You begin to see opportunities everywhere. Real opportunities, the fantasies are gone. Now you see structure. You see how markets breathe, how they build tension, how they reveal intention to those patient enough to observe. And here is the torture of stage two. You see the opportunities, and you know you should not take most of them. The hardest lesson I ever learned was not how to read a stock, it was how to sit still. To watch money being made, and not jump in, to let beautiful setups pass because conditions were not perfect. Before the crash of 1929, I watched the market for months. I felt something building, something unhealthy in the way stocks were moving. Smart money was distributing, insiders were exiting, the public was buying everything, convinced prosperity would never end. I knew a collapse was coming. I could feel it. But I waited, day after day, week after week. I waited not because I lacked confidence, but because I had learned a truth. Being right too early is the same as being wrong. Timing is not everything in trading. It is the only thing. Stage two strips away your addiction to action, your need to prove yourself with every tick, your urge to turn every insight into immediate profit. It teaches you that the market pays for patience, not activity. Most traders who survive stage one fail here, because this stage feels like stagnation. You're not losing, but you're not winning big either. You're sitting, watching, letting trades go. It feels passive. It feels like doing nothing. But you are doing the most important work of your career. You are learning to wait for your pitch. I used to say I made my money sitting, not thinking. Sitting. Because big money is not made in the trades you take. It's made in the trades you refuse. Every mediocre setup you pass protects your capital. Every moment you resist boredom keeps you alive for the trade that matters. The discipline of waiting feels like inaction. But it is. Everything gamblers crave action. Traders crave profit. And profit belongs to patience. In stage two, you build more than a strategy. You build emotional control. You separate what you want from what is. You read your fear and greed as clearly as you read a chart. You realize your greatest enemy is not the market. It is you, your impatience, your ego. Your fear of missing out. Slowly, trade by trade, consistency appears. Not brilliance. Discipline, small wins compound. Losses remain small. The equity curve rises quietly. Stage two ends when patience no longer feels painful, but powerful. When skipping a trade brings confidence, not anxiety. But there is one final stage. Stage three, becoming the market. After the crash of 1929, after I made my greatest fortune shorting the collapse, people treated me like a prophet. They believed I had outsmarted the market. I had not. I had aligned with it. Stage three is not about analysis, not about discipline. It is about synchronization, feeling the market's pulse as if it were your own heartbeat, moving with price instead of fighting it. You stop trying to be right. You stop imposing your will. You accept the market is bigger, smarter, and more powerful than you. And in that acceptance, you find freedom. I remember holding a large position when the market began moving against me. Stage 1 Jesse would have panicked. Stage 2 Jesse would have waited for the stop loss. But this time I felt something different. The movement itself told me I was wrong. The rejection, the price action, the tone. I exited before my stop was hit. 3 hours later, the stock collapsed. I saved a fortune, not because of rules, but because I listened. Stage 3 is where experience becomes instinct, where pattern recognition moves into the subconscious, where you feel when you are in sync and when you are not. Not because you are psychic, but because you have survived long enough to understand the rhythm, and that is where real consistency is born. Internalize the rhythm of it all, and here's what nobody tells you about Stage 3. It's lonely, because you can't explain your decisions anymore. When someone asks why you took a trade or why you exited, you can't point to a specific indicator or rule. You did it because it felt right, because the market signaled you to. And that sounds insane to everyone still stuck in stages 1 and 2. But it isn't insanity, it's mastery. It's what happens when you've repeated something so many times that it becomes instinct. A pianist doesn't consciously think about which fingers to move. A dancer doesn't count every step. And a trader in stage 3 doesn't overanalyze trades. They sense them. This doesn't mean you throw away rules or discipline. Those always remain. They are the foundation. But on top of that foundation, you construct something more. Something that can't be taught, coded, or backtested. You develop a connection with the market itself. The consistently profitable traders, the ones who endure, the ones who generate real wealth over decades, they all reach stage 3. They've been humbled. They've learned patience. And then they've moved beyond the mechanical side of trading and entered flow. They stop standing apart from the market and instead move with it. People used to ask me how I could hold positions through violent swings that terrified other traders. How I could remain short while everyone else was going long. How I knew when to pyramid into a winning trade and when to lock in profits. I couldn't explain it then, and I can barely explain it now. I just knew. The same way you know when you're falling in love or when someone is lying to you. Some understanding doesn't come from logic. It comes from somewhere deeper. The truth they don't want you to hear. Ease what Wall Street won't tell you. You cannot skip these stages. You can't read a single book, take one course, or follow a guru and leap straight into profitability. You must lose. You must fail. You must endure the humiliation of stage 1, the frustration of stage 2, and the isolation of stage 3. There are no shortcuts in this journey. The only way is through. I went bankrupt multiple times. 4 times I lost everything and had to rebuild from nothing. Each time I believed I had learned enough. Each time the market proved I hadn't. But every time I returned stronger, not because I was tougher, smarter, or more gifted, but because I refused to quit before completing the journey. The 3 stages aren't a syllabus. They're a crucible. They burn away everything that doesn't work. Your false confidence, your impatience, your ego, your need to be right. They burn it all away until what remains is a trader, not a gambler, not a theorist, not a hopeful amateur. A trader. And when you finally become that trader, when you survive all 3 stages and emerge on the other side, you realize something profound. The money was never the real goal. The money is only the scoreboard. What you've truly gained is something far more valuable. You've discovered who you are when everything is at stake. You've learned to trust yourself amid uncertainty. You've learned to make decisions with incomplete information and accept the outcomes. Those abilities are worth more than any fortune. So if you're losing right now, if you're in stage 1 taking hard hits from the market, don't quit. The pain carries the lesson. Learn it. If you're in stage 2, frustrated because the profits aren't coming fast enough, don't abandon your discipline. The patience you're building is your edge. And if you're somewhere between stages, still unsure where you stand, understand this. Every master trader doubles has ever walked this same path. Every single one. The market doesn't care about your dreams, your bills, or your deadlines. It will take exactly as long as necessary to teach you what you must learn. Your role isn't to hurry the process, it's to survive it. To remain in the game long enough to pass through all 3 stages. To become the trader you're capable of becoming. I'm Jesse Livermore. I've earned millions and lost millions. I've been called the greatest speculator who ever lived, and I've been so broke I had to borrow money just to eat. But through every victory and every defeat, I learned the secret the market whispers to those who truly listen. Money doesn't transform you, the journey to earn it does. And that journey, those three relentless stages, aren't barriers to overcome. They are the transformation itself. They're how the market turns dreamers into traders, hope into skill, amateurs into professionals. So embrace the stages, endure them, learn from them, because on the other side of the pain, beyond the humility, discipline, and isolation, something awaits you, not just profit, something greater, mastery. And there is no feeling in the world quite like it. Now I need you to do something. In the comments, tell me which stage you're in right now. Are you in stage 1, being humbled by the market? Stage 2, learning patience and building discipline? Or have you touched stage 3, where you begin to feel the market's rhythm deep in your bones? Be honest, because knowing where you stand is the first step toward progress. And if this message helped you understand your journey more clearly, press the like button. Share it with a trader who needs to hear it. Subscribe if you haven't yet, because I'm not finished teaching you what Wall Street doesn't want you to know. The market is waiting, and so is your future.